Okay, listen to me. This is so important. I feel this is so important that I'm ranting without makeup on my no makeup day. If you are someone who suffers from, I feel, Nikki feels, because Nikki is not a therapist. Nikki is not a psychiatrist. And I find I need to say this because a lot of people will take mental health information from like social media and TikTok as like actual medical advice, and we should never do that. But I feel, Nikki Marina feels, that if you are someone who suffers from a mental health affliction, PTSD, anxiety, depression, of which I have all, you listen to me. Listen. You cannot afford to have fuck ass people around you. You cannot afford the risk of having extremely toxic people around you. You cannot afford it. And that's not to say that like you should expect everybody to be perfect and not offer people grace. Like no, that's toxic. Obviously like everyone makes mistakes and nobody's perfect. Like to a reasonable extent, like of course, like don't be a fucking asshat. But like I'm talking about people that do and say things that like disturb your soul, that you're just kind of like, that's a little off. But then you just kind of let it go because you think, look, yeah, that's a little problematic. Yeah, that's a little weird, but I can just, I can deal with it. I've been through worse. That's something I've told myself. Like I've been through worse. I've encountered worse people. My abuser, for instance, like nobody will ever be that bad. Right. So, so if I could somehow survive that, I can deal with this. I can deal with a few little whatever. Trust me on this? No, you can't. Um, or at least you shouldn't assume so. Because maybe you can right now. But at least for me, with the severity of where I'm at right now with, my disorders, the smallest thing can trigger me, can send me into a panic attack, can just debilitate me for an entire day. Random things that I don't even know are triggers yet, things triggers that are fucking secret that I have to delve in to with my therapist and be like, I felt like shit on this day, like I completely lost my fucking mind, had a complete panic attack, and I don't know what triggered it. And then we go on this fucking rabbit hole adventure to find out what it was that happened in the last 24 48 hours or even week that has triggered this episode, and we're like, fuck, that's a fucking surprise. It like you're so sensitive, like any little thing could send you into a spiral, and all it takes from one of these fuck ass people is one incident, one thing, one violation of your boundaries, one just complete act of complete disregard for you, one betrayal. All it takes is one thing. If you think shit, for me, I'm like, if me if accidentally watching the wrong TV show or seeing a South Park character that reminds me of my abuser can send me into a spiral that lasts a day or two, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen when somebody that's close to me does something that is detrimental to me or harmful to me? What do you think that's gonna do? Like literally all it takes is one fucking thing to send you into a mental health spiral, into a mental health crisis. Crisis. Trust me on this. A crisis. That's all it takes. That's all it fucking takes. And everybody needs a support system, right? Like we all need a support system. We don't get through life on our own. We just don't. Everyone should have a good support system. Why the fuck would you build a support system on an unstable foundation? Which is something I'm saying now that seems completely fucking obvious, but at the time, At the time I'm figuring all this out, I'm like, why is this happening? Like, because you built your fucking support system on unstable ass people. People that you knew were unstable, but you thought, I can fucking wing it. I can get through it because I've been through worse. But no, you cannot build your support system on unstable people. Unstable material. Why would you fucking do that? Why would you build your house foundation out of straw? Just because it's not cotton balls is better than cotton balls. Straw. No, build that shit on concrete. You cannot afford those fuck ass people. Because maybe you can deal with them right now. Maybe you can deal with them now, but when you are in crisis mode and the world feels like it's burning down around you, no. You trust me, you won't be able to deal with that. You won't be able to take it the way that you're able to take it in a moment of clarity, you know? Because when you have a disorder, you have PTSD or some shit like that, when things go south, they go south. You cannot afford to have these wishy-washy people around you. You cannot afford it. It's too dangerous. It's too detrimental. Hush. So if you were looking for a sign to get away from somebody, if you were looking for a sign of whether a certain person belongs in your life or not, take this as a fucking sign if that's what you needed. If you're even asking the question, it's probably a sign. If you're even asking the question, that's probably an indicator already, you know? But trust me when I say, you can't afford to have them around for your own safety. Because unfortunately, we have more things to worry about. It takes a lot of fucking maintenance to make it through the day, especially those of us who are reliant on medication for the time being. No. It ain't nothing to cut that bitch off. Hey, hey.